Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Diana Rankin, and I have your June 2022 predictions from my spirit guide, Phillip, and we're going to get to those in just a moment. I do want to acknowledge in the US, it is Memorial Day, and that is Memorial Day. We honor the soldiers, those men and women who have fought in the different wars and their lives have been lost. We honor those who served. And I just want to honor that. So it is also in the US. We've had another mass shooting in a school, another mass murder. And I want to tell you next Friday on our weekly time together, there is a question that has come up and that will address the shootings in the schools, especially. There, of course, was one up in New York that was in a grocery store, and that was racially motivated. And today, Phillip addresses what's taking place. Hello, so good to see you, Sheena Marie Alchemy. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. So next Friday, be sure and tune in at 1 o'clock, and we're going to address things like why is this happening, but as well as looking at it from a higher perspective. We're going to, as soon as I finish reading the predictions, we will get a message from one of my books by my spirit guide, Phillip. It's called The Master's Book of Answers by Phillip. And as many of you know, we just have, each page is a different oracle. And so we'll just get our monthly message. And Sheena says, love your energy. Just wanted to stop and show some gratitude. Thank you. I am so grateful for those of you who are able to make it live. And I deeply am so grateful for those of you who make comments below and those of you who leave the thumbs up. You keep me going, believe me. And this is not always easy, especially the monthly predictions. They're hard for me. Not hard to get, but just hard to recognize and say, okay, Phillip, because so much of what we do here from Phillip is not what we want to hear. But I always say, listen to the end of Phillip's message because he always gives us hope and he always tells us what to do. And I find this month's message really quite interesting. And Sheena says, it's a lot of energy, but you deliver it beautifully. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. So Friday, I will see many of you live on our weekly messages. And our weekly messages are those questions that you send in, and they have a general. They're of interest to most of our viewers. If you have personal questions that do not have a general nature, please contact me privately and we'll set up a private session for you. But many of the questions that come up from our viewers, you can just post them in the comments below and I'll pick them up, or you can email me. That information is below as well. And I'll just find that question, and when it's appropriate, that's the question we'll ask and answer. But for now, well, hello, Judith. Good afternoon, Diana, she says, and so good to see you. So let's get going with the monthly projections for June 2022. I'm going to put my glasses on here. Okay. Here are Phillip's predictions. As many, and these are a little bit different than what most predictions would be, by the way. Phillip is just a teacher, and so he always wants to help us learn. As many have become aware of, the awakening is strong among the people who understand of what we speak. I'm going to repeat that. As many have become aware of, the awakening is strong among the people who understand of what we speak. This does create a divide in the energy. This divide or split between belief creates chaos. If each remembers there are only two choices, the answer is simple as to which to choose. What are those two choices? One can choose either to live in love or to live in fear. To live in love, for example, is to love oneself and give that love to oneself through forgiveness, compassion, kindness, laughter, and so on. And then to pass along all that love to others. So we first love ourselves, then we pass it along to everyone else. When anger, a form of fear, arises, simply recognize it, understand why you feel this, then exchange it for love. This is not this is not as easy to do as we speak. But in this month, the energy will be most helpful to do such healing. Opportunities will be given to heal old soul wounds as well as wounds from this current life experience. So, what Philip is telling us is if we have wounds from other lives, what we call past lives, we can heal them this month. This is the month that the energy is there to help us do that. He goes on to say, we have given anger as an example of fear, but there are many others. Jealousy is the fear of loss or that you're not good enough. Anger is simply the fear of not being in control or that another sees from a different viewpoint or at a situation that you see as harming. Resentment is also fear. This again is feeling helpless or not in control. You know, the truth is none of us are in control. I always say, let go of control, be in charge of your life, but we're not in control. Okay, Philip goes on to say, that which is fear-based is much broader than we have mentioned. Let us say that all emotion that is not of love is a fear-based emotion. We tell you this because this month brings forth many opportunities to awaken. This means, however, fear will increase as well. Expect damaging storms to continue. In the deserts of what you call the Middle East and also in the African continent, storms will bring destruction not yet known. It will be wise this month to heed all warnings of weather forecasters to minimize the loss of life. I don't like this that's coming, but there will be a surge of deaths this month due to storms, floods, fires, and world spread illnesses. Many will leave because they have completed their mission. Others will leave as a sacrifice to depopulate the earth to give her time to regenerate. Still others will leave to rid themselves of fear. Leaving the body does not rid one of fear, we remind you. The fear of lack will create a worldwide lack, as this fear causes higher prices. You may call this greed, but what is greed but fear of lack? Beneath greed is the fear of not being enough. This is the same fear as those who fear another who looks or thinks differently. This month, expect more bonding among the fearful. Do not expect lanes to be crossed, however. By this we mean those who have money but still fear will not become friends with those who lack money. The fear is the same. It is just not recognized as the same. The warriors in Ukraine, Russia, will continue to create death. This is their own fear of death being played out on others. The Russian leader faces his death again, but he most likely will survive through this month. I found that interesting when he faces his death again. And going through my mind, you know, our minds work on multiple levels. And when I'm writing this, I'm also hearing Philip, who kind of stands up here, but I'm also thinking about this. And I've always felt like the current Putin, the current Russian president, is Stalin reincarnated. So that may be what Philip is referring to. It may also mean that Putin has faced death in this life as well. And he's facing his death again, but he most likely will survive through this month. Philip goes on to say, this month, the U.S. democracy will be in greater peril. It will continue to survive this month, but destruction will become more apparent. With all this said, we remind you this is a month of many opportunities for awakening. By this, we are not speaking of the great awakening for all, although that will come for some. We are speaking of all those who ask and practice to awaken to love, a love deeper than as yet experienced. During this month, your eyes will be open to the love you give and the ways in which you heal your life and help the world. The purpose of your life and the ways in which you help others will become clear. This is your opportunity this month. However, you must be open and ready to receive. The gifts may not come as you dictate or expect. They will come as you heal and open to love. The love with a capital L that is the truth of who you are. The love with capital L that only you can give back to yourself. I'm going to read those last 3 paragraphs again because that's the part that I really like to give to you. With all this said, we remind you this is a month of many opportunities for awakening. By this, we are not speaking of the great awakening for all, although that will come for some. We are speaking of all those who ask and practice to awaken to love, a love deeper than as yet experienced. During this month, your eyes will be open to the love you give and the ways in which you heal your life and help the world. The purpose of your life and the ways in which you help others will become clear. This is your opportunity this month. However, you must be open and ready to receive. The gifts may not come as you dictate or expect. They will come as you heal and open to the love that is the truth of who you are, the love that only you can give back to yourself. You know, a few days ago or last week, I can't even remember now, in my journal, I wrote these words: do not get so lost in the world's fears and angers that you forget your spirit's promise to you. You are loved and you are loved. And I read that to you on Friday as well with the other information that we had for Friday. But I wanted to read that again because with all that's going on in my country, the US, and in the world, it is so difficult, I think, to stay in that place of love. Believe me, I don't. I move in and out. And that's what Phillip is saying, that every time we move out and move into fear, come back to love. Just remind ourselves to come back to love. It's not about suppressing anger. It's not about ignoring anger. It's about bringing ourselves back to that spot of love. Hello, my beautiful friend from down under. She says, greetings to all, especially to Diana and Phillip. Thank you. We appreciate your being here. Annika World, New Zealand, I believe. And she's sending us hearts and hugs. And thank you. I'm so grateful for all of you being able to make it. Let's get our message for this month from Phillip. And we just flip through and we open to any page. If you heard right, you and I are in sync. That's the message for all of us. If you heard left, that's also a pretty strong message coming through. And that's the message for you specifically, if you heard left rather than right. So you get both messages that you need to pay attention to. So on the right, I love how this always fits what we're talking about. Here's our message for the month. If you live today to its fullest, you will always have warm memories of a yesterday and a tomorrow to look forward to. If you live today to its fullest, you will always have warm memories of yesterday and a tomorrow to look forward to. Okay, my friends, this is our month that we get to really practice turning love, becoming more and more loving. And when Philip says the opportunities to do this, he's usually telling us, all those issues that we don't want to face will present themselves so we can turn it into love. So I always say that when I'm cut off in traffic, instead of using finger language from the driver, I will do something like, bless you, bless me. Or I will say, thank you. I'm so grateful that I'm not married to you. Or I might say, thank you. I'm so grateful that you're in front of me instead of behind me. So that's just changing it to love. And, you know, it's not easy. It is not easy. I'm getting many lessons in patience these days. If you heard left, this is a message that you need to pay attention to. Every magician must work hard to learn magic tricks. I kind of think that's a message for all of us. Every magician must work hard to learn magic tricks. Well, sometimes turning anger or fear or a sense of lack or any of the above, sometimes turning that into love, that's a magic trick. So that's kind of for all of us, isn't it? But remember that this is your opportunity this month. However, you must be open and ready to receive. The gifts may not come as you dictate or expect. They will come as you heal and open to love. The love that is the truth of who you are. The love that only you can give back to you. My friends, I don't think it's going to be an easy month. However, Philip is telling us this is our opportunity. Let's take it. Let's add love to the world. Let's add laughter in spite of the horrific things that are taking place in the world. We're going to talk about that on Friday afternoon. And if we look at things from a spiritual perspective, it is easier for us to look at things with love. So we'll talk about that Friday. Thank you, Annika, Judith, Shiman, Marie, for all of you coming live. Thank you so much for the love that you support me with. And thank you for the love that you receive from us. We get to practice that love this month, starting with loving yourselves. That is where it all starts. We must love ourselves and believe in ourselves and trust ourselves. So thank you all for coming and supporting me. I couldn't do this without your support, so I thank you. See you Friday. Love you all. Bye for now.